Okay, let's just jump right into this. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something totally fascinating. We're taking an exclusive, insider look at the actual city records, the council minutes, the planning docs, basically the real paperwork that is completely reshaping Josephine, Texas. Because look, if you want to know where a city's actually heading, you don't look at those glossy marketing brochures. No way. You follow the paperwork. And let me tell you, Josephine's paperwork right now is wild.
So what actually happens when a small town explodes overnight? We see this pattern all over North Texas, right? But Josephine is literally writing its own unique playbook here. We're talking about a massive, and I mean massive, scale of development hitting the area right now. Hundreds of new homes, totally new commercial zoning, a complete overhaul of the city's infrastructure, the whole shebang. But to really grasp the sheer magnitude of what's happening behind closed doors, we gotta look at the money.
$8 million. Yep, you heard that right. That is the bond amount approved for just one single new neighborhood improvement area. When you start seeing numbers like this flying through city council meetings, you know the stakes are absolutely incredibly high. This really sets the stage for what we're doing today, a data-driven deep dive into how Josephine is actually managing this explosive growth.
Section 1. The Josephine Growth Explosion. Tracking the massive subdivisions changing the city map.
It is honestly mind-blowing to see the sheer volume of these new master plan communities hitting the local market. I mean, the city map is practically being redrawn every single month. Former farmland? Bam! It's a major residential hub now. Just looking at the current status, Morgan Farms is maxing out at 415 residential lots, and Phase 1 is already complete. Morningside, right there with it, wrapping up its first Phase 2. But wait, it's not just a total free-for-all. Interestingly, developments like Wildflower and Grandstone are actually on hold right now. The developers hit pause. And that perfectly illustrates how the city and the builders are kind of doing this delicate dance, right? They're actively pacing themselves, trying to navigate the real-world limits of supply, demand, and all that new infrastructure.
Moving right along to Section 2, Funding the Future. How the city pays for its rapid expansion.
Okay, so think about it. How does a pretty small municipality afford to lay down miles of roads, water lines, and sewer pipes for all these brand new homes? It's not like they have millions just chilling in a checking account. So they use something called a PID. Let's translate that bit of bureaucratic jargon, shall we? PID stands for Public Improvement District. Basically, it's a specific, designated area where the property owners inside that footprint pay a special assessment. That money funds their local infrastructure. So instead of every single taxpayer in Josephine footing the bill for a brand new subdivision's roads, the cost is leveraged against the future value of those specific new properties. It's brilliant. It's the hidden engine really driving all of Josephine's growth.
And here is the scale of those engines we're talking about. Looking at recent council approvals, we're seeing some massive special assessment revenue bonds. Up to $8 million for the Morgan Farms PID and another $4.5 million for Josephine PID number 1. These multi-million-dollar bonds, that's what actually gets the shovels in the dirt. It's a super sophisticated financial strategy that makes sure all this new growth basically pays for itself.
All right, Section 3, the water and wastewater reality, the hidden costs of building a boomtown.
So, let's pivot away from the financial glamour of fancy new housing for a second and talk about the gritty but absolutely critical reality of city infrastructure. Building a boomtown means you gotta deal with what happens when thousands of new residents flush a toilet or turn on a tap. And the reality check is this number right here, over $1 million. Specifically, $1,059,033. I pulled that exact figure from a recent city council change order, and get this, that's just for sludge handling modifications at the North Wastewater Treatment Plant. When your population explodes, your sludge handling has to scale up immediately. No way around it. This is the very real, very literal $1 million price tag of keeping a rapidly expanding town safe and functioning. And this creates the core tension that every single booming city faces. On one hand, you've got this rapid housing development, hundreds of new homes all pulling water from the grid at the exact same time. But on the other hand, you face strict conservation realities. The city is literally forced to put mandatory restrictions in place just to manage that peak demand. Otherwise, the infrastructure could completely collapse under the weight of all those new residents.
To keep things running smoothly, Josephine has to play by the rules of the North Texas Municipal Water District, and they are strict. In the summer, spray irrigation is capped at a maximum of just 2 days a week. In the winter, just 1 day a week. And don't even think about watering between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The city is getting high-tech with it too, pushing these ET-based smart controllers and a Water My Yard app to give people actual scientific data on when their grass truly needs a drink. It's a mandatory lifestyle shift for sure, but it's absolutely crucial to protect the city's resources.
Moving to Section 4, upgrading the local lifestyle, bringing new amenities to Josephine residents. Okay, I know, it's not all sludge handling and water restrictions. Let's enthusiastically shift gears to the fun stuff, the tangible lifestyle upgrades that all this rapid growth, and let's be real, the increased tax base, are bringing straight to the community. Upgrading the local vibe is huge for city planners right now. Check this out. City records show they just launched a food truck pilot program at the city park. But behind the scenes, making that happen was a total maze. The council had to pass new rules, draft up heavy license and use agreements, and even score a driveway permit from TxDOT just to get those food trucks safely onto the pavement. It just goes to show how all these dry, bureaucratic steps actually create those cool local hangouts we all love.
And adding to that whole community feel is the newly proposed Josephine Farmers Market. I absolutely love their slogan, Brave Roots, Local Fruits. So good. This is a true community-driven co-op, totally designed to showcase Texas-made goods and back our local entrepreneurs. The plan is to set it up right on that new food truck pad apron to test the waters. They're trying to create a really vibrant, family-friendly atmosphere right in the heart of the city.
Finally, Section 5, the FM6 Retail Vision, planning for destination retail and a true downtown. So looking at where all of this is heading in the long run, a massive focus is capturing commercial real estate value along the Farm-to-Market 6 corridor. They want destination retail, they want a true, walkable downtown. And honestly, the city is being so smart about this. They aren't just crossing their fingers and guessing what stores might work. They actually partnered with the UT Dallas Center for Retail Innovation to run what's called a retail leakage assessment. Basically, it's like a giant puzzle. They track exactly where Josephine residents are driving to spend their money outside the city limits. Groceries, dinner, you name it. Then, they use that hard data to target those specific retailers and bring those tax dollars back home.
To actually pull this off, the city is actively rewriting its zoning playbook. They've amended the FM6 corridor to a mixed-use designation. Why? Because they want that high-quality, walkable, boutique retail vibe. They're even planning to tie these retail spaces right into the NetX rail right-of-way to build future pedestrian trails. Imagine that! Plus, to make life way easier for developers who want to build out this vision, they are taking all their scattered zoning rules and consolidating them into one slick Unified Development Code, or UDC.
And here is a super cool insider secret from the records. The city is also teaming up with the City and Regional Planning Program over at UT Arlington. They are literally having university students run the community engagement and draft up a preliminary downtown plan. And the kicker? They're getting this initial resident-led vision completely free of charge. Honestly, that is just incredibly savvy municipal management. They're designing a downtown that honors the city's roots without blowing the budget.
So, what does this all mean for you? The absolutely crucial takeaway from reading all these records is that Josephine's blueprint is literally being written right now, today. From multi-million-dollar water pipes and PID bonds to food truck parks and university-led downtown designs, these public records aren't just boring paperwork. They are living, breathing documents reflecting a city in massive transition. The decisions the council makes today are going to define this community for decades. We've pulled back the curtain for you, so are you ready to stay engaged and help shape its future? Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next deep dive.